Hello and welcome to the F1 Esports Series Pro Championship 2021, presented by Aramco. You join us as we are now past the halfway point of the season, but it is all still to play for. The Silver Arrows have got their sights firmly set on the Team Championship, but Red Bull will not go down without a fight. And as for the Drivers' Championship, well, a new contender has emerged from the Aston Martin camp. It is all still to play for, and with the drama yesterday in the races, well, results could prove pivotal.
For the first time in F1 Esports, we are racing at Algarve International. Wheel to wheel, as predicted.
Lucas is flying out there.
5 red lights in Zandvoort, and we're racing. Now the tactics begin. He's making this audacious strategy work. Danny Moreno takes the lead. Has Freddie Rasmussen made a mistake? Danny Moreno wins at Zandvoort.
It's a big step forward for Mercedes versus Red Bull in the Team's Championship.
Oh, so good to have you with us. Wow, lovely audience we have.
A reception.
Beautiful reception. That's lifted my spirits. Also lifting my spirits is to be joined again by you, Natalie Pinkham and Nick Hamilton. Guys, this is day 2 of Event 3, Portimao, Zandvoort, done and dusted. But Natalie, what have been your highlights so far?
Well, 2 great tracks yesterday, and much like the real world, it is so tight between the top 2 teams. Level pegging going into it yesterday. You'd have to say advantage Mercedes now as the Brackley bunch put their nose in front. Standout performances, Lucas Blakely, brilliant first and third, both races on the podium, and Freddie Rasmussen, a double second.
Double second.
2-2.
Yeah, he wasn't very happy about that on his Twitter. He posted about that, which I didn't know if he was sort of saying, I've got 2, like 2 second-place finishes. But, hey, I tell you what, he was lights out. He was very, very good yesterday, wasn't he, Nick?
Yeah, very good. I think he's a bit too hard on himself. I think you never know with Freddie Rasmussen whether he's been real or not, because...
It's that Danish sense of humour.
Yeah, was he being sarcastic? Because, 2 second places is pretty decent, though, and he's right in the hunt for the championship.
Yeah, and any other highlights that stood out for you yesterday?
I thought Danny Moreno did a great job to come out on top at Zandvoort. His first win, his maiden win, as we keep saying. Definitely great, and obviously Lucas Blakely's continuing to remain consistent, which is great for him.
Yeah, I get accused a lot on this show and the Pro Championship that I ramble on. So we're bringing to you a countdown clock. We're going to put that in right now so you know exactly how long I can ramble on
Just
for
you?
Just under half an hour, which is quite a long time to fill.
Oh, my goodness.
But we
won't stop him.
We will do it. Guys, I tell you what, we talked about Portimao. Let's see the highlights from yesterday.
We are racing at Algarve International. Lucas Blakely off the line, David Tonizza alongside, and the Scarlet Ferrari. Well, he's not going to be able to get there. Lucas Blakely in the lead of the race. Then it's Danny Moreno P3, then Fabrizio Donoso in 4th, Johnny Tormler in 5th position for the time being. The Aston Martin leads, though, as they climb the hill. We're going to get another swap in the battle for 2nd place. David Tonizza reclaims 2nd place. Now, heading into the pits, David Tonizza, as we get a battle, brilliant amount of speed down the main straight. Fabrizio Donoso, who manages to take 2nd position.
Moreno is going to be under pressure right now.
Look at this, look at the speed he's got off the corner. He doesn't even need DRS. He's absolutely disappeared there. And he has taken another position, up to 5th he goes. Lucas Blakely back in the lead of the race.
Freddie is going to go full attack again, full deployment of the energy. Needs to dispatch of Donoso now and get after Blakely.
Race on, game on, through goes Freddie Rasmussen. Donoso will fight with Tonizza for the final place on the podium. Oh, late on the brakes there, sends one. Is it going to work? Yes, it is. Danny Moreno, can he squeeze his rival on the exit of the corner? No, you get better momentum. Wider than, it's very, very tight.
David Tonizza now coming under pressure from Moreno, still trying to get up the inside here.
Oh, he's going to launch one. This is so tight. Danny Moreno and Tonizza are fighting. But here's the man who's the class of the field, Lucas Blakely's best day in F1 Esports. What a dominant drive to beat home Rasmussen. It's Donoso, then Moreno, and Danny Moreno beaten on the line, it appears, by Johnny Tormler, but I think it might have been the other way round. Then you've got a celebrating Aston Martin driver. He is in the championship lead. What a performance from Lucas Blakely, who's won in Portugal.
Hi guys, it is Steph Wentworth here, and what a fantastic race we had at Portimao. I'm about to catch up with a couple of the drivers who had some exceptional performances and see what they thought of the Algarve International Circuit. Fabrizio Donoso, what a fab job you did at Portimao. How did you find the circuit for the first time? Did you enjoy it?
Well, clearly, considering the position I ended up in, it's always a bit hard to jump in a new track like this without knowing what everyone else is doing. So felt pretty good in qualifying, and obviously managed to grab that podium at the end of the race. Felt pretty good as well.
Joni Tormala, great to speak to you. A fantastic result in Portimao. Is this going to set you up for the rest of the season?
Definitely feeling more confident. The start of the season was really tough for multiple reasons, but I think I'm starting to find my ground better, especially in the qualifyings, and that always helps big time in the races. So, I feel really confident for the final races this season, and I hope I can keep the momentum going.
Love to see that. Steph 1 getting some quick-fire questions in with the drivers. And as you can see, the race classification for round 7, Lucas Blakely. Quite right to have 2 fists there. Yes, celebrating his second win in F1 Esports Series. Freddie Rasmussen in second. Great drive from him. We'll discuss that in a second with Natalie and Nick. Fab Donoso in third. And all the way down there, Barry Borman would be a little bit disappointed finishing in 10th there, but does still pick up a point for McLaren. And the DHL fastest lap goes to Philipp Preschneider of the Alfa Romeo team. Still no points for Haas, but I want to talk about Lucas Blakely first before we talk about Freddie Rasmussen and his alternate strategy. But it's just exceptional. When you get a win, it breeds confidence, and you go and get your never one.
Absolutely. He's just hit this great run of form, a purple patch that he's really enjoying. You could see how much it meant to him, and takes him to the top of the championship. I mean, fantastic performance. What would you put that down to, Nick?
I don't know. I think it's all about just confidence, and once the confidence gets within you, it's almost like anything he does just touches to gold. Any time he's in the car or driving the car, let's say, he's really on pace, and he won that race, I would say, very convincingly. He checked out initially at the start of the race, and you can see what it means to him. So yeah, really great job.
Yeah, compare that race result to his first one. I mean, he couldn't get a breath in the first result, but no, it just seems a bit more like, yeah, I know how to celebrate when I win now. I'm just a bit more relaxed. There'll be an extended interview with him and myself later on in the show. But Freddie Rasmussen, okay.
By extended, you mean long because he didn't stop talking?
That is another way of looking at it.
He actually made you look quiet and shy.
Yeah, which isn't actually the case at all. But Freddie Rasmussen, alternate strategy, it seemed to work. He started off in the mediums and then went past the train, loads of overtakes.
He made it work well, didn't he? Yeah, emulating another Red Bull driver of Max Verstappen coming in second at the real race earlier this year. It's great to see, and he's just so dependable, isn't he? Just puts in these great performances week in, week out.
Yeah, he's super consistent. He's always in the top 3, both in qualifying and in the races. I'm so blown away by how close he sits to his monitor. I'm sure he's going to get square-eyed before too soon.
Did you believe that when you were a kid? Because I certainly did. I always go and check afterwards if my eyes hadn't been gone square.
It seems like, the closer he is, look how close he is. Look how close he is.
That is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. But clearly he can react to everything, faster, because it's not a seat of the pants feeling. It's a virtual feeling. It's something that you have to watch and prepare for. So maybe the closer he is, the better it is for him.
But how do you see something that's there without going like that?
Well, I tell you,
know what I mean?
While we watch the interview, because when I said a minute ago, I said, hey, later on in the show, I meant quite literally just moments away. It is the man of the moment. It is very much the championship leader, Lucas Blakely. I was fortunate enough to be able to grab a few moments, and when I say a few, quite a lot of his time ahead of Event 3 and dig deeper into his success this season. Check it out.
Lucas Blakely takes the opening win of the year and wins for the first time in F1 Esports.
That move is the move of the season as far as I'm concerned.
The question everyone wants to know, what's changed for Lucas? Same team as it is this year. So what went wrong last year, and what have you changed for this year?
I can understand why. People think, what's happened? Why did you go from here to here? It's like they think, everyone thinks there's maybe like a magic solution. There isn't. There was a lot of things wrong last year that I don't think would have allowed us to compete. But going into this year, I feel I'm definitely driving better. I mean, I always feel like I'm developing as a driver anyway, and I'll say the same next year. I think we've just collectively done a better job, and it just allows me to be much more confident, a lot more natural.
And the hard work doesn't stop. People will be thinking, oh, well, he's successful now. This is fine. He's a good driver.
Yeah,
but
you don't stay successful for long if that's what you think. You've got to be. If you're complacent for 5 minutes, you're out in Q1.
That is a brilliant move from Lucas Blakely, who then finally gets through on Nicholas Longay.
2018, I met you for the first time, taking part in all of these tests and assessments to see which F1 esports team would maybe sign you, and then you didn't get selected. Chatting to you afterwards, and even sent you a message on social media, and I said, you'll see it as a setback now, but you'll only get stronger from this.
I do remember you messaging me, and I do remember after the show, and I do remember going back to the hotel room. I think I cried my eyes out a little bit. The one thing that I wanted to make sure of is that I am never feeling like that again. I just committed everything for the next year. The minute I was coming home from school, straight on the game, doing like the top leagues that I could race. But then we arrived in 19 for Take 2, and I believe I was the 6th pick.
You had to wait a little while.
So I was like, at that point, my nerves were like, oh my God, like I cannot take this any longer.
It's number 9, Lucas Blakely!
I still remember your words. It was like, it's number 9, Lucas Blakely. The thing is, it was an explosive reaction, but it was like a tenth of what was inside. It was justification. It was more than just about esports. It was more, I've achieved something in racing when I thought the dream was gone. It's also a way of, all that sacrifice my mum and dad put in, my family put in, to make me go karting. It didn't go to waste.
I loved that moment when I got to call out your name, and then to see you get a podium when everyone was like, this is the guy to look out for. It took a while to get that first win.
First race of the season, fighting for my first win in esports, but I loved it. It was like, this is the coolest. I'm fighting on the line, heart rate through the roof, but it was the best type of pressure because you felt so in the zone with it. At this point, I was like, let's go. Because I had 210, so that was so close. I think Nicholas was going for the DRS on the next straight, but I pinched him on the outside, and he gave me a little touch there, going in here, and then another one there, and at this point I was like, no. So I was getting on the power, instantly break the slipstream, pull to the right, pull to the left, disrupted momentum, and staying to the outside here actually meant that the only way Nicholas, as you saw there we had contact, but the only way Nicholas would get the move done is if he was going to make a huge lunge, and it would result in an accident. Yeah, that's cool. I was so happy. I think I'll get a moment to, sit back and step away from it all towards the end of the year when it's all over. But very aware of the position that I'm in, and I very much don't like letting opportunities slip away. I want to make sure I try and make the most of it. So there's time for celebration and there's time for hard work, and I'm very much trying to keep my head in the game at the moment.
It was so good to go to Aston Martin, and I'm going to show a bit of bias, I'm going to pop it there, but it was just such a lovely interview to find out about what it means to Lucas Blakely, and you can see how passionate he is. He didn't take no for an answer when he got that rejection right here at the Gfinity Arena and didn't get drafted. He came back stronger the next year.
I have to say, I love chats like that because you're able to just dig a bit deeper, learn what really makes racers tick. And he is just such a great lesson to anyone out there who feels like giving up. His tenacity, the passion that he has for what he does has just pulled him through. And to hear him talk about the sacrifices his parents made, there's always such a strong human story behind every one of these racers' lives, in the real world and in the virtual world. And the commitment that goes into it is phenomenal. So hats off to him because he's enjoying and he's reaping the rewards of his hard work.
Yeah, hat off. No, it's going to be hat on. I'm going to prove I don't look good in hats. There we go. We're going to go to a break now, and then when we come back, we'll find out what Nick thought about that and look forward to Zandvoort. See you after the break.
Hello, we are McLaren Shadow, and we're gonna play the 5-second challenge. Golden Retriever, Husky, and I don't know.
Oh, German.
Yeah, German Shepherd. That's what I was searching for in my head because we had one for 10 years.
Fish.
Your brain is so slow. How you are an F1 Esports driver, buddy? It's present. It's my Fanatec wheel and then video card.
No.
Paris.
No way! I swear I needed this question. At least I get one. Anguilla. Argentina. Oh my god.
It's a ball. It's a soft. I gave up.
My watch. My watch. Flower. And the red car. Red car.
Very F1 logo Ferrari on my watch. That's in 2 seconds done. It doesn't matter how far you win the race. It only matters that you win it.
Welcome back to the F1 Esports Pro Championship presented by Aramco. Tables and chairs have been moved. We're getting to the action in under 20 minutes. We'll be heading to the Circuit of Americas for lights out. Before we head there, though, let's turn our attention back to last night's action at the Circuit Park Zandvoort in the Netherlands.
5 red lights in Zandvoort, and we're racing. Good reaction time for the pole sitter. Can he cover off Freddie Rasmussen, though? That's the question as they go to turn 1. Very tight between the two of them.
He is very, very close to Patrick Sipos. He's going to deploy his energy, and he's going to have the inside line down towards turn 1.
Hello, here we go. He's going on the charge on the soft tyre, and who says you can't overtake around Zandvoort? And the driver who started on pole, looking in his mirrors, he's got DRS as well. Let's see if Blakely can shape for the move. It's going to be more difficult this time, but he's still going for it. Look at the confidence he's got, look at the grip that he's got, look at the position he's got, he's through, and he's only got 2 to clear up ahead. He's making this audacious strategy work at the moment.
Oh, here we go.
Here we go. He's finally decided now's the time. Does that leave him vulnerable? It does. But the driver on soft tyres is boxed in. Danny Moreno takes the lead. Has he opened the door? Has his worry come true? No, he's just about been able to defend from Lucas Blakely. Now the tactics begin.
David Tanitsa has got through on both Jarno and Patrick now. David Tanitsa up to P5. They're still fighting into turn 1.
And he's passed. He's got past. So David Tanitsa making progress. Brendan Lee in 9th place. Glued to his teammate at one point. But David Tanitsa suddenly able to make his way through. Freddie Rasmussen closing in. How close is he going to get? 3.5 tenths of a second. He's not close enough at this stage. As we go on to the final tour, we're on to the last lap. Here comes the Red Bull. The Mercedes knows it. And Freddie Rasmussen got a look, but not enough. Can he get a good launch off the corner? Does he have enough to challenge? Has he got the call wrong? Is Danny Moreno set fair for victory here with Mercedes? Danny Moreno plays it to perfection, and the Mercedes driver looks up, and for the first time with his team, sees the checkered flag first. Danny Moreno wins at Zandvoort. Freddie Rasmussen is second, and Lucas Blakely comes home P3. Danny Moreno calls it right.
Patrick, hi, how are you doing? I'm sure you must be riding an absolute high after finishing in the points for the first time this season.
Hi, I'm doing great. Yeah, it was an interesting night. I felt really good on qualifying. I think you guys could have seen it. So yeah, I'm really happy with the performance. Quite an unfortunate race, but still for first points. This is my 3rd race, so I have to be happy with myself.
Danny Moreno, what a win, what a maiden win. Congratulations. How does it feel?
It feels great. I think after the races I had when I was in P2 in Austria and then finishing in P10, then finishing P2 in Silverstone after I couldn't beat Freddie and he overtook me in the last lap. But now finally I could prove what I can do.
There you go. Danny Moreno proving exactly what he can do. Thank you very much. Steph won for the interviews with the drivers there. New rookie Prix joins and had a great result, finishing in 8th for him. But Danny Moreno, and I would like to say it's not all down to his mascot Piggy, but it's obviously played a big part in that.
Absolutely. All drivers want to notch up their first win because that's the big breakthrough moment for them. And it was great to see him do that yesterday.
Yeah, Jarno, his teammate, further down in 6th place. Not quite picking up as many points as you'd expect from Jarno, but it is great to see with Danny Moreno. Earlier on in the season, he was very much the sacrificial lamb for Jarno, but now that's a good feeling for a driver to be able to prove, hey, this is it's 2 drivers here, and I can bring the points home. Absolutely. He needs to feel that he's bringing something to the party here. You know, it's a big ask to come into Mercedes from McLaren last year, and he's partnering, as you say, Jarno Otmir, who's kind of the star driver, if you like. So for him to come away with the win is a massive boost for his confidence. And here's a track that, we'd say you can't overtake on, but he proved us wrong there. It's such a cool track, isn't it, with the banking and, it's narrow and twisty, which makes qualifying so important. But actually, he proved his worth in the race itself. You've got to be brave, and we're seeing the overtake coming up here against Freddie Rasmussen, and he made it stick, and you're just like, that is the difference. Those are the moments that you have to go for it. Otherwise, you'll let someone like Freddie Rasmussen or Lucas Blakely have all the fun, but Danny Moreno, I just like that bravery when it mattered. Absolutely, and the confidence to hold someone like Freddie Rasmussen back is crucial. And you learn every time you make a move like that and it sticks, you learn and grow from it. Yeah, so we're in event 3, Natty, and previously in event 1, event 2, Danny Moreno just wasn't quite having the results. He was very unlucky. You hear that a lot with drivers. I was very unlucky there, but he's now turning his fortunes round, and that's positive to see. And for any other driver who's not performing where they think they should be, that sends out a good message. Absolutely. And what's the saying? The more I practice, the luckier I get. Something like that. These guys put the work in, and there's no coincidence that you can push that bad luck aside if you really apply yourself. OK, just over 10 minutes before we get to the races. In terms of other results there, Marcel Kiefer, we talked about it at the start of the show, Red Bull Mercedes. That's not good when one of your drivers is not picking up as many points. Freddie's having to carry most of the workload there. Well, we see it in the real world as well. There needs to be a two-pronged attack for each of these teams. They need to be pulling in big hauls of points for the constructors, but also they just need to be this rear gunner to support the guy in front. So it's crucial, particularly at the business end of the season. Yeah, Natty, I don't know, I'm just going to test it. No, we haven't got... No, we haven't been allowed to get on the touchscreen. We spent a lot of money on that. And over at the touchscreen right now, the 2 supervisors who can use it, it's James Baldwin, Nick Hamilton. What would you like to discuss on the touchscreen?
You're right, so we have a touchpad, and I'm with Nick, and we're going to look at some Zandvoort analysis of the start from Barry Burman's point of view.
Yeah, so before I actually get into that, I was on the quali show yesterday, and Barry Burman got his PB, his best ever lap around Zandvoort, and he did it on his last lap in Q3 when it mattered most. Now that's
unheard of.
Completely unheard of, and the pressure he had at that point, and to pull it out was amazing. So let's get on board with Barry at the start of the race. Please don't let me down, touch screen. Please don't let me down, touch screen.
Maybe
please don't let me down. This is
and play. And it's not really working, is it?
Oh no.
What a shame. Let's try play. Here we go.
Okay.
Yeah,
is it working?
Yes, go.
Okay. So I'm so sorry. It's not my fault. Anyway, we're on board with Barry, and obviously we're on our own. You can't see anyone else around us, but he's going to be able to see Freddie Rasmussen in his wing mirrors. So we go into turn 1, but we've got to leave a little bit of room, haven't we, for Freddie, who just turns up there. So we go through turn 2. Into turn 3 now. We're on the inside. It looks like we've got the job done, but Freddie actually gets a better exit.
And if we look down here, you can see the battery deployment. Now, Barry's on overtake, using all the battery he can to try and stay ahead of Freddie. Zandvoort is, of all the tracks on the calendar, uses the most battery per lap because you've got all the downforce on the car. Barry there, he used it to try and stay ahead of Freddie in vain because he was in second after the first few corners. He's got the whole race to do with 75% battery. I think that's why you saw him drop back in the race. He didn't have the battery to defend himself later on. I don't know what your thoughts are on the racecraft. Could he have been a bit, more aggressive with Freddie and kept the lead, especially at turn 3 on the inside? Maybe showing Freddie the door a bit more. Was he a bit too nice?
Yeah, maybe, especially in turn 3. You probably would have just ran him out a little bit more. But the fact that, it's so close, And especially with F1 Esports, we realised that they give each other a lot of racing room, and you know, they never really clout into each other. And I would say maybe
you risk wing damage, in fairness.
Yeah, and maybe sort of running someone off is what you would have in real life, but maybe not in the game for them.
Exactly, it's a make or break moment for Barry in that race. You know, using all that battery, he had to stay ahead. He didn't, and then he dropped backwards. But that is unfortunate. Thank you very much. The pad let us down there. But back to you, Tom.
Thank you very much to Nick and James there. Let's have a look at the driver and team standings. Well, as you can see for the Drivers' Championship, there he is, Lucas Blakely. You know what it means to him, the hard work that's gone into it. He is top of that leaderboard with 127 points. Jarno Opmeer not far behind in second, and Freddie Rasmussen down in third. And we will have the team standings coming up shortly. As you will see, it has been neck and neck between Mercedes and Red Bull. But before we get there, what do you make of this top 10, Natalie?
Well, it's great. I mean, it's a bit of a surprise to see Lucas up there. Let's see if he can stay there at the top of the standings, but he'll enjoy that. Jarno Opmeer, Freddie Rasmussen, more familiar names up in the top three.
And just 1 point, when you go into this last race of Event 3, do you reckon it will be on the drivers' minds, or are they just thinking, hey, look, it's the team championship, we've got to get as many points for the team, that's where the money's at, but it's a little bit of pride and ego, right?
Absolutely. I think the one thing that has impressed me the most, though, is the way they've learnt these new tracks, like Portimao, it's the first time that they've raced there, and they're able to compartmentalise to such an extent that they go Portimao, Zandvoort, and then come straight into today to do COTA. I mean, can you imagine doing that in the real world? The
pressure and the memes that are going around Twitter right now is unbelievable. Let's have a look at the team standings and what it means, and there you have it, just those points difference between Mercedes and Red Bull, and as I mentioned before, $750,000 prize pool shared out between these 10 teams, and there's still an opportunity, which I like. I know we're supposed to focus at the top two. That battle is going to continue. If Lucas Blakely and Daniele Haddad, his teammate, can produce tonight in the race, then that will help them out. But down at the bottom, those teams can move, and there's more money for the team for next year.
I know, I mean, it just looks pretty woeful down here, though, doesn't it? I do think we should focus at the top, though, because considering we came into yesterday on 140 points apiece, and now look at that lovely little buffer that Mercedes have got, they'll be delighted.
Yeah, and I've just noticed in there, FDA, Esports and McLaren are neck and neck on 68 points. I know that everyone watching right now wants some COTA action. You want some? I'll give it you. That'll be coming up after the break. But don't forget, that is what is at stake for all of these drivers.
You are doing great. I am Daniel Beresnay, and there is my teammate Barry Bourmont for McLaren Shadow, and we are doing Real the Grid for F1 Esports. Okay, so this year from last year it's USA, Portugal, and Imola.
David, Freddie, Jarno, Danny, and I think that's it.
Wrong! I couldn't know this answer neither, so... You are unlucky, bro. Championship wins? Yeah, it's Red Bull.
Oh my god. Marcel Kiefer. Then if you answer this.
Yeah, it's a hard question. I think he won 6 races, because I won 2, Freddie won 1, and Sally won 1 as well. I think it's 6. Yes!
Bahrain. No, not Bahrain. China, Spa, Monza.
Monza was not in 2018. Sorry, Barry. It was Singapore, except of Monza, in 2018. It was 2020 when we didn't race at America.
Freddie Rasmussen.
Yeah, maybe I should focus more on driving, as Lando Norris said in one of his interviews.
We've got one hell of a race here in Texas.
Laps ahead of us here in Austin. Oh no, what's happened there? He's got 6 appeal in Austin, champion of the world.
It has a place in my heart, Austin Grand Prix, USA. We return to the Circuit of the Americas in Austin for the first time since 2019. A track featuring 3.425 miles and 20 turns, and at 35% race distance, we shall see the drivers fight it out over 20 laps. Now, turn 1, we're watching right now, was a happy haunting ground in 2019 for Jarno Opmeer as he took P6 from Caraton towards the end of the race. And then turn 12 saw Enzo Benito on the soft tyres pick off his future FDA teammate in 2019. Turn 15, I can tell you all about that. Bit of Sully Saltung on Sven Zerner to retake P5 in the race. That is just some of those iconic moments from the Pro Championship. I personally fell in love when I went to my first Grand Prix, which was Austin. I thought, why not? Let's have a lads' holiday. Let's get amongst it. And it was incredible. The energy. What do you love about it?
You have set the bar high by going there first. I mean, not many places match up to Texas. It's always bigger and better in Texas, isn't it? It burst onto the scene in F1 terms back in 2012. That was the last time that Lewis Hamilton won for McLaren before making the switch to Mercedes. And then, of course, this year we saw Max Verstappen hang on for that famous win, his first win ever at COTA. Played an extraordinary strategy game, very aggressive, and he just hung on there right at the end, and Lewis Hamilton couldn't pass him. But I love it. I mean, it's such an incredible circuit. Turns 3 to 6 are reminiscent of the Maggots and Beckett's combination of corners at Silverstone. And, of course, that run up to turn 1. A mega opportunity for overtaking, and it looks so epic. The biggest crowd, by the way, this year ever in Formula One history. Over 400,000 people came over the weekend in Texas.
That's insane. I love how you just drop in fact bombs, just boom, like that. That slam dunk, that was beautiful. Let's look at the starting grid then for this epic race that we are about to get amongst. And Nicolas Longuet returning to form. That's what you'd expect him to be doing at the start of the season. He'll be starting at the front row with Barry Boremund, who has been fantastic. He has made it to Q3 every single qualifier so far this season. Freddie Rasmussen down in 5th, and then he's backed up by his teammate in 6th. Ooh, Lucas Blakely down in 8th. That'll be interesting. Alvaro Caraton in 7th. Sebastian Job, it's his rookie season in the F1 Esports Series. He's down in 9th. Former two-time champion Brendan Lee in 10th. Simon Weigand 11th. Daniele Haddad in 12th. Yoni Tormala, he's been in the points in the last 2 races in Event 3. He's backed up from 14th by Michael Romanidis, and then that rookie Patras Sipos. And then we've got some guys in Haas hoping to get some points for their team. I'll be willing them on, the underdogs.
Can we just talk about margins here? Because Nicolas Longuet put it on pie by 1/1000 of a second. This is phenomenal, and fair play to him, because it hasn't been coming easily to him of late, and to put in that performance is just astonishing.
Yeah,
good on him.
There were feathers being spat everywhere by Barry Boremund. What? 1/1000 of a second. There is the whole Alpine setup. So some people watching right now, they're like, is it just the drivers on their own? No, they've got a whole team behind them in race control, helping them through, which you need. You need that background team helping you through those moments.
I do, and I think that the morale at Alpine, buoyed by Fernando Alonso's podium the weekend, I think it's just great. There's a good vibe about them, you know. They're working hard. The future's looking bright.
Yeah, let's hope they can take that vibe with them as I come to this camera. I'll turn awkwardly. Fans around the world can't take their eyes off the incredible championship battle taking place this season, and that's no different for the stars of F1 either. A few of them sent some good luck messages for their virtual counterparts ahead of tonight's race.
Hey guys, just wanted to wish the Williams Esports drivers the best of luck in the official F1 Esports Championship. Keep pushing, keep working hard, and make the team proud.
Antonio Giovinazzi here from Alfa Romeo Racing Holland. I want to just wish all the best to the eSport team. So yeah, good luck, and I will watch you and support you.
Barry, Danny and Josh. Lovely 3 days you got. I just want to wish you all the best, guys, and the next few races you got. I've been watching every step of the way, qualifying and all the races. I'm sure you can maybe say you can do better, and you'll have disappointments, but there's been many showings where you can be strong and you can have great weekends, and I guess it's not a weekend for you, great days and great races. So keep pushing, keep working hard. I know you got a good team behind you. You work well together as a trio, so I wish you all the best. You can do well, you can get up there, you can score podiums, so good luck.
I love Lando. It felt like a wedding speech
good
there, didn't
pep
it?
Talk. I like that.
It was nice.
Buoy them up a bit. Just talking about that rotation of drivers, I think that's been a really useful tool in their armoury, and I like the fluidity of it all. You know, coming in and relying on each other and then stepping aside and subbing in. It works well.
Yeah, it does. It seems to be getting them some points. Will it work tonight? Let's find out as we head up. Oh, they are just such a dynamic duo. Matt Gallagher, Alex Jakes, over to you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Deacon. What a great throw. Every time. Nails it. Tell you what, the driver's going to nail it. For this, it's a crucial race. We're getting to the business end, and we've got a mixed-up grid.
We have indeed. Of course, Blakely, the championship leader, 8th on the grid, of course, makes it through to Q3 again, but at the same time has a bit of work to do in this evening's race. Down in P8, Jarno Opmeer, his closest championship rival in P3. I say closest, Freddie Rasmussen only 1 point back from Jarno. This is going to be very interesting to see Jarno on the medium compound tyres. I spoke about it in the quali show. I said, look, Jarno hasn't been going for the alternate strategies that often in the last couple of races. He's going against the grain today.
Yeah, that's what took him to the title last year, being able to pull off those alternative strategies. He's gone back to the form book, gone back to what he knows.
I say that though, and they're all on mediums by the looks of things, so maybe this is the grain.
The two ahead have gone the other way. So for Barry Borremund, great over 1 lap. Can he take a step forward in the race? Nicolas Longuet has returned. He's come back after getting lost in the last couple of races by his own admission. He's at the head of the field. There are stories absolutely everywhere you look. Who really does need to perform in this race today, Matt?
Well, Lucas Blakely needs to go on the attack. It's going to test his ability to come through the field a bit because he needs to protect his championship lead. It's going to be very interesting to watch. The front two should be very quick off the line.
Here we go then. Austin, Texas. Here come the lights. 4, 5 red lights in Texas, and we're racing with a good reaction time from our pole sitter, but will it be that inside line just like in real life? It will be. Barry Borremund improving. Second place to P1, puts the squeeze on his rival, gets the launch off the line on that Redwall soft tyre. It's worked for him and he's got the lead. Car off in the background, a long way there. Simon Weigang already out. It's Borremund, Longuet, Opmeer, then Tanitsa and Kiefer, the top 5.
So Longuet started on the mediums, not the soft tyres, so it's Barry Borremund, the only driver in the front, God knows, 6 or 7 there, and he is trying to extend that gap as much as possible. He wants to break DRS and just drive away in this first stint.
Not a good start for Lucas Blakely, the championship leader in 10th position. So difficult qualifying, difficult opening lap as well. He's side by side, further back with Sebastian Job as we go on board with Freddie Rasmussen backing wheels with Brendan Lee, currently in 7th place. He's got good form around this circuit. He's tucking in now, not a DRS train at this stage, but he is within the slipstream. Big overtaking opportunity, he knows it. Throws the dummy, tries to claim the racing line, and we're looking at the battle for second place at the moment. It was always going to be feisty on this, the opening lap at 20.
Yeah, forget Jarno Opmeer going against the grain. We've only got 4 drivers out there on the soft tyres, so the medium appears to be the preferential strategy. Barry Borremund's gone, you know what, I just want to drive away. 1.3 seconds the gap already to Nicolas Longuet behind him. So Barry just trying to do similar to what he did in Monza, but it didn't work too well for him then, and he dropped back. He's going to have an amazing first stint if he wants to win this race.
Well, Brendan Lee, from banging wheels with one Red Bull to getting past another, finds himself P5 at the moment, and it's more aggressive than we've seen on some other opening laps of the year. Barry Borremund getting it all done at this stage of proceedings. That's another place gain for Brendan Lee, who's up to P4, passing cars at will. At this stage, Barry Borremund's lead is 1.5 seconds.
Just shows Brendan also on that soft tyre, making it work very well indeed for him. You can see the pace difference between the 2 tyres is huge, especially you go through this first sector. There's so much more grip available on those soft tyres. So Brendan trying to make this strategy work. But as I mentioned, Barry did it in Monza and lost quite a few positions. So as much as they're looking strong now, it may not come to them towards the end of this race. Let's hear from Barry.
Yeah, I'm going away.
Yeah, good man. Keep up the pace. Pretend it's a practice lobby now.
Yeah, let's go, man.
Pretend it's a practice lobby with the best esports drivers in the world all around you. We heard from Nicolas Longuet it's going to be all about tyre management. So Borremund trying to get a gap now that's obviously going to come back for those who are going to switch tyres later on. But 2.3 seconds, he is pulling a sizable gap at this stage. As we check in with Jarno Opmeer, playing himself back into form, and as it stands, retaking the lead of the Drivers' Championship.
Jarno technically P2 in this different chasing pack, I suppose. Barry has bolted, but Jarno sitting comfortably at the moment behind Nicolas. He's got Brendan behind him, which he's going to have to be a little bit wary of, because Brendan, of course, on those quicker soft tyres. But I imagine if Brendan gets a good run on Jarno, he won't really challenge it.
And we are on board with Brendan Lee. You can see he has had some start to the race. He's not done yet at the moment. Another dive bomb move to the inside. Has he got it done? Yes, he has, and that's up to P3. And Brendan Lee's having a brilliant charge. Let's bring in James Baldwin. What do you make of the opening exchanges so far, James?
Thanks, Alex. Well, the difference between here and Monza for Barry is he's got the job done on lap 1, whereas at Monza he did it on lap 4 or 5. So if anyone's going to make this soft to medium strategy work, it's going to be Barry. But we'll see. It's going to be interesting.
He is trying to get as much of a lead as possible. Brendan Lee carving his way through the field. Brendan Lee was so disappointed yesterday, wasn't he? Being forced off the road back at Zandvoort, and it all got away from him yesterday, but he's gone on the attack at this stage. Nicholas Longate will be just looking to try and get himself in the major places. A penalty further down the order for Van Erven, but he's just gained a place up to 8th position.
Yeah, Haas have 0 points at the moment in the team's championship, but that soft tyre run is helping Van Erven make his way through the field. But as you mentioned, a penalty to his name will more than likely take him out of the points when we get to the end of this race. But it's still a good start from Van Erven. Danny Beresne as well, making the most of those soft tyres, up to P10 from 18th on the grid. Here he is, as if by magic. But they just have to make the most of this. They have to be making so many moves. Danny Beresne may well have got a warning there as he just exceeded track limits, trying to push on in that McLaren, as his teammate is 3.6 seconds clear. Brendan Lee should go to the inside here, and it'll be an easy enough move into turn 1. Brendan Lee up to 2nd.
He's having a great run through the field. He's on that soft tyre. The top 2 are on that soft tyre, but that's the difference between getting qualifying right and finding yourself in the middle of the pack. From 10th to 2nd for Brendan Lee. He is the driver on the brink of taking the championship lead. Nicholas Longay now looking in his mirrors at Jarno Opmeer, who's feeling confident using more of the road at this stage of proceedings through that very, very technical opening part of the lap.
You might be thinking, Barry, look, nearly 4 seconds clear. He's got this one in the bag, but just remember, he will come under pressure. He will be vulnerable at the end of this race when the likes of Longate, Opmeer, Tanitsa, Kiefer, etc. When they all go on the soft tyres, they will have this pace that we're seeing from Burremand and Lee. So this is not over by any stretch of the imagination. You have to imagine the amount of drivers going on the mediums to start with. They think it's a quicker strategy to bolt on the softs at the end of the race. Lower fuel, they can really go on the attack.
Lucas Blakely down in P12, the current championship leader. There's Jarno Opmeer looking to change all of that in 4th position at the moment. But Lucas Blakely not used to days like this in what has been an outstanding season so far.
Yeah, he's down to 12th now. Of course, you have to imagine he'll get back past Van Erven and Beresne, but that will only give him 1 solitary point. Jarno Opmeer in 4th will probably make that 3rd when Brendan Lee pits. So, yeah, one to watch for this one. We could have a very close championship fight once again. Of course, Blakely has the advantage at the moment, but as things stand, I think they may well be level on points, actually, if my math serves me correctly. I think it is 12 between them. So, Lucas having a difficult one. He's going to have to make some moves when he bolts on the soft tyres. Right now, it's not really worth fighting Caraton and Job ahead. He needs to maximise this stint. And then once he pits, maybe goes for an undercut. It clearly is going to be very powerful. We've seen how quick the soft tyre is. I imagine Blakely will go for that undercut and try and get a few track positions.
So Barry Borremand chasing his first win in F1 Esports, going in a different direction to everyone else, deciding to go for that launch off the line on the soft tyre. Got it, made it work, built the gap. Be interesting to see if Brendan Lee can respond at this stage. That 5 of 20. And Lucas Blakely will be, as Matt says, tied on points if it remains like this, but Blakely's going to play himself back in, and he's got a long time remaining in the race. Day in the sun for Van Erven, though, really enjoying himself out there and putting pressure on cars that he has not been racing so far this year.
Yeah, I mean, it's no offence to Van Erven and Beresne, but they've been off the pace, and it's just showing how quick these soft tyres are. Will Van Erven try a move on Freddie Rasmussen? Needs to be a bit careful, does Freddie, of course, fighting for the championship in both the drivers and the teams. Doesn't need a Haas sticking one up the inside, enjoying some time in the sun, and then having some sort of incident. But you can clearly see still lap 5 of 20 and the soft tyres working better than the mediums at the moment.
Yeah, pendulum has not swung with that at the moment. As you can see, Danny Beresne, who was distraught after qualifying and will just be hoping to get confidence from this run through the field, and hope that maybe it's one of those days where it is the alternative strategy that turns out to be the right one. McLaren have decided to do that with their front-running car, and their car that had nothing to lose decided not to split strategy, so they appear to be confident with that approach as we have a look at the opening sector, where it's very, very easy to get a penalty for track limits in this part of the racetrack. We've got Van Erven who's done that, and plenty have been warned as well. Daniele Haddad has been warned for track limits as well. Let's check in and once again with James.
Cheers, Alex. Well, there's a couple of things really, as not too much is going on. So, first thing is Barry, his main weakness this season has been race pace. It does seem at this moment in the race he's come over that, but you can never be too sure when the strategies play out. Interesting to see if he'll hold on to that lead. And the second thing is Aston Martin. They've got no pace, and you know, relative to say Portimao or Zandvoort, so they've clearly got the setup wrong here at COTA.
And on a day like today, when it's not going your way, it's about how many points it's damage limitation territory for Lucas Blakely at this stage of proceedings. And turning a bad day into a 7th place is sometimes as important as what we saw yesterday from him when he took one of the most dominant wins in F1 Esports history.
Completely agree there, Alex. You know, Jarno did a lot of damage limitation yesterday in the 2 races. Will we see Lucas dive into the pits? We've already seen a couple of drivers. We do indeed. He absolutely, I was going to say, yeets the bollard. That's not a commentary term, but it's still true.
It's what he did.
The bollard out the way, and there you go. So that's the aggressive strategy that Lucas Blakely and Aston Martin are going to go for. We've already seen Sipos, Romanis and Haddad on the soft tyres the previous lap. So he's going to go on the aggressive, try and make up some track positions. You'd imagine with the soft tyres he's going to have a very good opportunity to get in the mix with the Red Bulls potentially, just with 1 lap of undercut. We'll see.
In memory of that bollard. Absolutely destroyed by Lucas Blakely. But he's gone aggressive. He's got no choice. He's out of the points at the moment. He's facing his worst race in the championship so far. Longuet is playing himself back into form. Otmir's just holding fire. You can tell basically from the body language of the car at the moment. Interesting though that the pendulum now begins to swing to the medium runners, because you can now see Longuet easily taking the move and reclaiming 2nd place that he lost to Brendan Lee a few laps ago. Brendan Lee with a brilliant charge through the field, but now the medium tyre is the tyre to be on.
It absolutely is. Fascinating to see what the front runners Longuet, Otmir and Tanitsa do on these medium tyres. Do they bite the bullet early like Lucas Blakely has, or do they continue on for a few more laps so that they can have fresher tyres towards the end? We know that Jarno Otmir loves to do that. Let's hear from Lucas Blakely.
This is going to be a bloody horrible end, but we'll see how we go.
So basically highlights what I was saying. He's gone for a very aggressive undercut. Jarno Otmir doing the same, diving into the pits 1 lap later. He knows those soft tyres are going to fall away, Lucas Blakely, but he knows it's the only way to get in the mix.
Barry Burman still with a sizable advantage at this point in time. So Otmir, Van Erven, Sebastian Job, Danny Perezne in the pits and making their mandatory pit stop at this stage. Patrick Sipos with the fastest lap of the race with his teammate. You're looking at him at the moment, Nicholas Longuet in P2. And we go on board with Freddie Rasmussen, who is chasing down Marcel Kiefer. They haven't been in this order too much in the last couple of races, but Kiefer finding some form once again. He's not too far away from the back of the Ferraris. 2 Ferraris, then 2 Red Bulls, as they battle over the final places on the podium.
So there you go then, you look at the leaderboard. Lucas Blakely 2 seconds behind Jarno Otmir after 1 lap more of undercut for Lucas, which should bring him around the Red Bulls, as Keith getting very close to Tanitsa ahead there. And yeah, you'd imagine Lucas is going to have to get his elbows out and really try and defend whatever positions he gains in this particular phase of the Grand Prix.
Yeah, it's the first time we've really heard him flustered on the radio as well in a while, so he knows the tall task ahead of him at the moment. Nicholas Longuet's got the gap down to 3.6 seconds, but Barry Burman, man on a mission at the moment, now comes in to pit from the lead, and he's not the only one. I think Freddie Rasmussen was coming in as well. He was, so this is crucial. Swapping of the compounds going on, and David Tanitsa takes the race lead as Barry Burman comes in to get rid of those soft tyres.
That was a great stint from Barry. Still, it was 3.6 seconds as he came into the pits, so that sort of crossover transition between the softs and then the mediums being quicker. Barry still managed to hold off the sort of the charge from the medium runners behind as he comes out the pits now, 2.1 seconds ahead of Jarno. So you'd imagine Jarno is going to really go on the aggressive. Lucas has crucially just come out behind Brendan Lee and is still in 11th place, so it's not really working out for him at the moment. But he's ahead of Freddie Rasmussen, crucially.
Yeah. Danny Beresne has a 3-second time penalty for multiple track limits warnings, and you can see that down in 15th at the moment. Okay, on board with Jarno Opmeer, and Opmeer going to the tyre aggressively, going early on, has the compound advantage for the time being, and he is now in the, well, he's trying to get within the DRS of the McLaren ahead. Let's check in. The expression on his face, having lost the championship lead, knows he's got a big opportunity to get back on terms today, but has to take those soft tyres a long way.
Lucas Blakely's just made a position up on Brendan Lee behind, which is crucial for his race as he tries to get into the DRS of Nicholas Longay ahead. Jarno Opmeer closing in very quickly on Barry at the moment. He senses a real opportunity here to win this race, but it is wide open. The strategy is so open at the moment, Alex. You've got David Tanitsa and Marcel Kiefer only pitting now after 10 laps. We're going to see a lot of differences in pace as we get towards the end of this race. We're going to have to watch for Tanitsa and Kiefer as they come charging through at the end.
Our pole sitter, Nicholas Longay, said it's all going to come down to tyre management. He knew it at the start, and it is, because they're coming in, they're making their stops. Alvaro Caraton has the race lead. Danny Moreno with a horror qualifying, finding himself out of the running in Q1. He is yet to pit at the moment. Then Presneda, and then you've got Barry Borman with the lead at the moment, the driver who's been trying to unlock that race pace on the medium compounded tyre, up against a driver who is gaining on him with every single corner of the racetrack.
So let's talk about what's happened here with the pit stops. Lucas Blakely has put himself into a net P4 at the moment. When he was down, out of the points, needed to do something aggressive, he has done a great job to put himself in contention. But as I say, he's going to have to hold back the likes of Freddie Rasmussen, Sebastian Job, David Tanitsa, Marcel Kiefer, that will all come for him towards the end of this race. Freddie Rasmussen, first stop for him is Brendan Lee.
And he pulls out of the slipstream, gets a bit of a squeeze from the Ferrari. Oh, he's getting past both of them. So straight past, who's the last of the late breakers? It is Freddie Rasmussen, who had so much speed, and Lucas Blakely, having momentarily been passed by both of them, at least only loses one place from his point of view. Freddie Rasmussen gets the pair.
Freddie's going to be quick now. I think Brendan was having a little look up the inside there. You can take a couple of different lines through that double left-hander, and I think now Brendan Lee coming under pressure from Sebastian Job. We may well see it in the background. Nope, Job just getting out of it there. But it's crucial for Lucas to stay with Freddie Rasmussen now. He's going to be so quick on those fresh, soft tyres, chasing down Nicholas Longay. But look at this, Opmeer and Longay on the back of Burremand for the technical race lead.
3-second time penalty for Marcel Kiefer. Sums up how things have been going at the moment. Okay, soft tyre versus medium tyre. Barry Burremand taking the race lead with the compound advantage earlier on. And he's held that effective net race lead all the way through. Great opening stint, but now the tables have turned. And Jarno Opmeer, challenged by the results, by the strong performance by Lucas Blakely, is responding here, and he is clearly at this stage far, far happier. Long way to go though. He's on the soft tyres. Has he taken too much out of them for the time being? You can see they're braking on the curves as they go in to turn 10, lining up this long back straight, and Nicholas Longay is staying with them now. All the while, if they battle too much, they're going to bring Freddie Rasmussen into play. This is for the net race lead. This is so important. This is Jarno Opmeer out of the slipstream and taking what is effectively P1 later on, and he's just about hanging on Barry Borremand to second position, but Longay's all over him as they go into the tight technical sector at the end. But Opmeer's through. He's not the only one. Longay's through as well. Barry Borremand just sends one to the inside. He's got no choice at the moment. The medium tyre isn't the one to be on. When you get down to traction, the Alpine is through, and it's Opmeer in fourth for the time being, then Longay and Borremand.
It's not working for Barry again. He's gone for a different strategy. He wanted to extend that lead at the front as much as he could. But that 4-second lead that we saw at the start vanished. Yeah. Absolutely vanished with Opmeer and Longay going onto the soft tyres. He now has to hold on. This phase of the Grand Prix will be the most difficult for Barry to hold on to Opmeer and Longay. But if he can, if he gets to lap 17, 18, it may well, the pendulum may swing once again.
Lucas Blakely and Freddie Rasmussen not separated by much, and that's why we go on board with the driver who's still in the lead of the championship. Looked fairly miserable for him earlier on, and he has come alive, but remember, he's got 2-lap old tyres, and the demands of this part of the racetrack means there's nothing you can really do to save them. He's going to take a lot of pain later on, so he's just trying to stay with Rasmussen and try and roar up to the back of Barry Borremund at the moment. Borremund leading the race for so long, going the other way with the strategy. He needs those on the soft tyre at the moment to eat their tyres, and once they're all gobbled up, he'll hope that it comes back his way later on. You can hear the beat for DRS for Lucas Blakely in the Aston Martin as Michael Romanidis gets a 3-second time penalty. This one's in the balance. Fascinating race in progress.
Oh, we've also missed as well. Marcel Kiefer's picked up a penalty, which is going to be a bit more pain for Red Bull. Currently in 9th, but that will drop him out of the points with that additional penalty for him. Nicholas Longate 4th at the moment. We're taking a look at him in the Alpine. Barry Borremund just holding on to the DRS behind, which is all he needs to do at the moment. But this three-way fight has now had Freddie Rasmussen, Lucas Blakely, David Tanitsa, not potentially Marcel Kiefer because of his penalty, but the rest of them have all joined the fray to potentially have an opportunity to at least get on the podium.
Jarno Opmeer takes the race lead. It is now a straight fight with everyone making their mandatory pit stop. Barry Borremund trying to stay with them. Freddie Rasmussen closing down that gap. Lucas Blakely finds himself 0.6 of a second behind. And the real picture emerges for the time being. And Opmeer responding really nicely after going and losing that championship lead. Nicholas Longuet not thinking about any championship permutations, just desperately wants to get another win in F1 Esports. And the Alpine driver has shown us last year what he's capable of doing. He's going for his 3rd win today. We go on board with him as he chases down the race leader.
Watching Nicholas Longay now. I imagine he's not really going to want to pass Jarno at the moment. Let's watch, as he's not got a huge amount of ERS either, and he's not activating it. So you can see by the fact that his steering wheel hasn't gone green for the overtake button, it means he is just in and not activating his overtake button, basically. So he's trying to save as much energy as possible in his ERS. Happily just watching Jarno lead the way, but at the same time Jarno's not going to be using a huge amount of energy either. It's just a waiting game now. But I'm interested to watch David Tanitsa, for example. 3-lap fresher soft tyres. You have to imagine he is going to go on the attack to at least Lucas Blakely ahead, who will be struggling towards the end. But right now that would be a very welcome 10 points for Lucas if he can hold on there. The championship leader, don't forget. But with Jarno winning at the moment, I mean, Jarno takes the championship lead once again.
Freddie Rasmussen has closed up. The ever-reliable driver for Red Bull, part of the team championship winning combination. Looking to return to the podium once again. Slightly tongue-in-cheek, you suspect, saying that a pair of P2s, not a good day. But he's looking at 3rd position at the moment. 4-lap old tyres, so he'd have to beat Longuet on pace afterwards. Opmeer could take, it's a long lap here, could take a bit of pain later on, given the compound that he's run. But we're basically in a holding pattern to the end of the race now. We're waiting. Everyone's like keeping their cards close to their chest, but we are going to get some finish, I imagine. Great time to get the thoughts of James Baldwin.
Yeah, so I'm a bit surprised with McLaren, really, why they've opted for the soft medium. It's clearly, from what I can see, it's the worst strategy by a long way. You can look at Brendan Lee, he's down in 10th, probably not going to finish in the points, unless the mediums miraculously come back to him later in the race. But yeah, it seems like a waste, but hopefully not.
It is getting very frantic for Barry Borremund, and as we were getting James's insight, David Tanitsa up to P5. So he has managed to get through, and that's the difference between fresh softs and the driver behind. Now, similar situation, compound advantage for Freddie Rasmussen. Barry Borremund's not been left behind here though, but as Matt has pointed out, the top 2 are pacing themselves to the end as the DRS train goes over the line once again. Is Opmeer going to notch another victory this year? It is a bit of a brawl emerging at the front of the field. Tanitsa, though, maybe the driver to look at. If he can take the fight to Freddie Rasmussen, this could be a very interesting end of the race.
Yeah, freshest tyres of the top 5, so don't count out David Tanitsa. for a potential P3 at least. Freddie looks like he really wants to get through on Barry now. He can see that the McLaren just doesn't have the same pace at the moment with those medium compound tyres. He will also know when we get to the last lap that the mediums will be looking pretty good. So he needs to make his move now and ideally get into where Nicholas Longuet is, because P2 is probably the best position you want to be as you head down this straight for the final time on lap 20. But right now P4 is not good enough for Freddie, and he may well try some sort of lunge on Barry Burramund.
Let's see if he goes for the last of the late braking moves. No, late defence there. Can he be given the room to go all the way around the outside? Perfect car positioning. And that will give him the inside line. The Red Bull driver's taking third position, but you can hang on at this part of the racetrack, but not if you're on the wrong tyres. You're always going to get the late move to send one to the inside, and then it becomes a race on traction, medium versus soft, and it's P3 for Freddie Rasmussen.
David Tanitsa's joining the fight as well, so Barry's going to be very careful in his mirrors here through the final couple of corners. David Tanitsa all over the back of him, as is Marcel Kiefer and Lucas Blakely fancying some too.
And Kiefer has got past Lucas Blakely on the racetrack, but he has got that penalty, and that's going to scupper things for him. So not being able to make it through, David Tanitsa finding himself, oh, this time he is. That is brave stuff. Is he going to have the room on the outside? No, he can't get it done. And look at the ground that Rasmussen has got. He's very nearly up to the battle for the lead, and he has to follow all the way through this tight, twisty part of the racetrack where there's so much speed, and you can see how much the medium tyre is struggling. He doesn't have an opportunity to send it to the inside. He's having to wait for the driver in front, and he's losing time as his hopes of a podium start to evaporate.
Yeah, crucial for David Tanitsa to not fight him too hard, because if Barry loses DRS and then David loses a bit more time, it'll be very difficult to catch this front three again. But crucially for Barry, he will have DRS down this straight. Will David go on the attack? You can see Barry is saving some energy, whereas Tanitsa has 3% ERS, so not much to play with either.
Longuet's very close indeed. Is he shaping for the move further up? No, he's right in the tracks, being nudged along by Freddie Rasmussen. 3-car battle for victory. Longuet got very close under braking at turn 11. Now it's follow the leader all the way through here. But yet again, this F1 Esports Pro Championship providing late twists all the time. Burramund's gone in a different direction with the strategy. It's not allowing him to fight. At one point, he nearly had a 4-second lead, but he was on the wrong tyre. The rest of the field were confident about that. He's doing well to hang on in here, and he's hoping that everyone else being aggressive is going to cost them later on. Jarno Opmeer playing the canny game. At least he'll hope he's playing the canny game, because if that's all the pace he's got, he's in trouble as we go in to the final stages.
Yeah, this could be a very interesting last couple of laps, Alex. I'm looking forward to seeing how this one unfolds. But with Barry, it's he's clearly lacking some pace, but with the front three taking it a little bit easy, it allows him to maybe spend a bit of energy and get back onto DRS terms with Freddie Rasmussen ahead. As you say, David Tanitsa there, Marcel Kiefer with that penalty. It's going to be such a costly penalty. Remember, they will be reviewed. Penalties aren't slam dunks, and the stewards will take a look and see if it's worthy. Van Erven sets the fastest lap, as he is down in 18th, so has pitted for a fresh set of softs. Of course, there is one lap available if you score the fastest lap in the top 10, but you likely see the drivers at the back of the field pit for a fresh set of softs so that another team does not get that 1 point. Nicholas Longuet looking very close on lap 17. Yeah. Will he have a look?
Close as he's been, he's got no interest in taking the race lead though. Strange as it is to say, he's waiting tactically, because that was a slam dunk opportunity to get on the DRS, to get past, to get through, and he turns it down. So as you can see from the live Drivers' Championship, Jarno Opmeer is going to go ahead for the time being, only by 6 points, but so important now as we tick off the races, not long to go. And Nicholas Longuet looking to return to the top step of the podium. He's done it twice before in F1 Esports. And as we tick down to the final crucial laps, let's hear once again from James Baldwin.
So something I just wanted to touch on regarding strategy is it's not just a case of people going onto the soft as early as possible, keeping track position, because if they go too early, they'll simply get a puncture at the end of the race. It's that simple. You'll lose grip, you'll be slow. Yes, you'll have the track position, but you will get a puncture. So that's something to watch with, especially Lucas.
Yeah.
You've got to conserve those tyres.
So that will be a worry for Lucas Blakely. We're on board with David Tanitsa sending one to the inside, but not enough. He's not got the performance that he needs under braking. And every single time he has a move like that, hurts him all the way through. Any half move, that's going to just cost you for the rest of the lap. And Patrick Sipos has got a 5-second penalty for crossing the pit lane exit white line. Quite a few of them being dished out in the last couple of races.
Yeah, a lot of penalties towards the bottom of the field. I feel like every time we throw to James, David Tanitsa goes for a move. So I think David will be hoping we speak to James more often. But we're getting to the important end of this race
here we go for the lead of the race, and this time Nicholas Longay's trying to defend Freddie Rasmussen, who is putting the pressure on, and he almost forced to take the lead, but he didn't want to there. Opmeer, Longay and Rasmussen in the same order. Further back, now we've got Marcel Kiefer trying to make the move on David Tanitsa, and he might have a penalty, but on track, he's got P5.
Oh, it's still going on though, isn't it? You'd imagine Marcel will have that position right now, P5, as Alvaro Carreton is fighting Danny Moreno for the final points-paying position. But Freddie Rasmussen knows he needs to get into P2 if he wants to win this race on the final lap. P3 is not good enough. We already know from his tweets, he's not happy with 2 second places yesterday. He wants a victory.
Loving the fact that Longay nearly had to take the lead by accident. He is waiting. He is waiting for his opportunity, playing a canny game. He's had plenty of opportunities to shape for the move, but he's waiting until the final stages. Has he made the right call? We saw some interesting tactics deciding things yesterday. It's gone the same way. Rasmussen seems to have so much pace. Longay is trusting his judgment here, and Jarno Opmeer is absolutely outstanding, returning to form, the reigning champion, about to take the points lead, or is he?
He could easily finish third at the end of this lap if he doesn't extend that gap enough on the final lap. Let's have a look. Nicholas Longay, not that close, but of course with the use of DRS, I imagine he'll again follow him through. This is the penultimate lap. The next lap is the crucial one.
He's close. Nicholas Longay is going to dive to the inside, and this time, is he going to go wheel to wheel? He is in the lead of the race. Longay's taken it, and the driver who started on pole has worked his way back to the front of the field. Opmeer settling for P2. Is he in the box seat, though, as we go to the last lap?
I'm baffled. I thought Longay was going to wait, but maybe thinks it's the last lap. It's not, Nicholas. He's got one more lap to go, but Nicholas just wants to lead from the front, spend his energy, but you can have a look and see 60% of ERS available to Jarno Opmeer. He has plenty to attack on this final lap.
It is up for grabs as we go on to the 20th and last lap, where they haven't wanted the lead, not really, all the way through it until now. Longay's been forced out there. Danny Beresne's got a penalty. That's further back, but it's Longay versus Opmeer versus Rasmussen. Is it going to be decided at turn 11? Just like the real thing, the race win is going to be decided on the last lap at COTA.
This is the important part, the first sector. Longay has to absolutely nail this. If Jarno is within 3/10, it's probably game over for Longay. You can see how close Jarno is. This is going to be unbelievably close.
That is such a difficult part of the racetrack to follow, but Opmeer's in the box seat. He's bringing Freddie Rasmussen as well. He's in the position to go for it.
He's let him through. He's let him through.
He's gone tactical, and Nicholas Longay drops down to third position. Is it going to be a mistake? Opmeer takes the race lead. Could this swing open from Freddie Rasmussen, who was P3 at the start of the last lap? Nicholas Longay trying to play the tactics, but it's Rasmussen versus Opmeer to win this race. He's not close enough at the moment. Has Jarno Opmeer got it right? There's still opportunities, though, for the Red Bull driver. Dare he throw one to the inside? Can he throw one to the inside? This is the last real overtaking opportunity. We're on board with him. No, he's going to try and make it a traction race. Slightly younger tyres, but I think Jarno Opmeer has got this one right. He's read the cards correctly. He's a few corners away from victory.
Unbelievable. I cannot believe that Jarno Opmeer is going to win this race. What an ending.
Well, he was out of form yesterday. Throw that out the window. Jarno Opmeer back on top, and he crosses the line to win at COTA with a superb performance to go back into the lead of the championship. Freddie Rasmussen P2, and Nicholas Longay had the lead on the last lap, but finishes P3. Barry Borman led for so long, but he will finish in fourth place, and it's Opmeer back on top.
Thank you very much, Alex and Matt. A truly remarkable race. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that in the Pro Championship. Unbelievable scenes. I tell you what, let's look at the provisional classification right now. As you can see, Jarno Opmeer back to form. Another win for him. Natalie, what did you make of that?
Well, I'm confused, I have to say. I mean, Opmeer was gifted the win by Longay, and with it, the lead in the championship. I mean, this is a huge day for Jarno, but Nicholas Longay must be very confused himself by his actions. I mean, what on earth was happening? I'd like to talk to him.
Well, we cannot fathom it, but I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll take a break right now. When we come back, there's a lot to unpack of COTA. Don't go anywhere.
Hi guys, we are McLaren Shadow and we are doing the Teammates Challenge. See how well we know each other.
We don't know each other at all.
I hope he doesn't have one. That's the most likely answer in terms of mathematics, I can tell. But something with strawberry. Strawberry cake, strawberry ice cream.
Yeah, that was correct. Strawberry ice cream.
I don't know if we are cheating or not, but thanks.
Dog.
You need to know it from Instagram.
I think his dog is a golden retriever as well.
Yes! Oh my god, that's 2 points. You know what? Eye of the tiger.
No, I don't have one.
Oh, you don't have one? I should have chose this awesome opportunity, the mathematical best answer.
Yeah, because I'm thinking about setups. But yeah, I would say my final answer is Spa 2019.
No, I just wrote Spa win and Paul. Oh, wait. It's Zandvoort.
Yeah, correct. Pizza? Yeah, I will go for pizza.
Yeah, I should have wrote that because I like it a lot, but I wrote spaghetti because...
Oh my god, I knew!
It's good to know that he won't sing in the shower, so I can rest calmly when it occurs that we are in the same apartment one day as teammates, so happy to play this game.
I will sing setups. The wings!
Welcome back to the F1 Esports Series Pro Championship 2021, presented by Aramco. And myself, Tom Deacon, and Natalie Bingham are here at the desk. Natalie, before we went to the break, you said, I would love to chat to Nicholas Longuet. Well, guess what?
We've got that opportunity.
We're going to do it right now. So, Nicholas Longuet, are you there?
I am.
Okay, well, Nicholas, I mean, let's not beat about the bush. Let's get right to it. Nicholas, what happened in that race? We can't fathom what happened.
Right, so it may look a bit strange from a third point of view, but I'm towards the... Well, okay, so the thought process was I had one lap fresher tires than Jarno, so I expected to have a little bit of a pace advantage towards the end as well. So I thought if I led the last lap, I had enough ERS to defend them off. But crucially, I made a couple mistakes going into start of Sector 2, ending Sector 1 and start of Sector 2, and I really overheated the tires a lot. And I was just a sitting duck. So what I thought to do was a bit cheeky to just let them pass so I could get the DRS and retry to overtake them back. But it was too late. I made the wrong call, but it was due to mistakes I did on the lap. So I'm pretty frustrated, and I'm sorry to the team about that because the race went brilliantly until then. It was all, it all worked out well until then.
Yeah, it certainly was. You certainly have a lot to be proud of, but you publicly berated yourself, much like Charles Leclerc. You were quick to chastise yourself for what you did. What can you learn from this and, use what happened to take you forward?
Well, it's clearly I need even more race experience, and I think I just thought that my tires were in a better condition than they actually were. So I think the main focus for next time will be focusing more on the race setups for next event so that my tires don't just fall off the cliff like they did today. And I'm frustrated, but it happens, so we move on.
Yeah, well, listen, Nicholas, I mean, I really feel for you right now. What's your progression, as many people have in the Pro Championship? I mean, let's focus on the positives. Still a podium, one of your best finishes of the season. Hopefully this will help you to kick on now for the remaining 3 races that we've got coming up in December.
Yeah, honestly, now I'm probably even more motivated to do even better in the last event because I've shown that, okay, I'm back. I did this pole position in USA. So it's time for me to be there consistently. So, I'm just even more motivated now.
Well, listen, Nicholas, always a pleasure to chat to you. Congratulations on the podium. We will see you in December for the next event. And all the best until then, Nicholas.
Thank you very much, you too.
Great to chat to Nicholas there, Natalie. And like you said, he's berated himself, he's done that publicly, now we can move on. But we referenced it in the interview, and a lot of you may not have seen it or heard it, and that's the team radio, where he just acknowledged it during that race. But such an odd decision when he sort of moved to the side. I've never seen anything like that.
Yeah, it was just a strategic error that he's clearly said he's going to learn from. I mean, he does beat himself up about it, that's for sure.
Yeah, and when he comes on those radio, sort of talking about the team, we mentioned the team behind the scenes when we went into this race, but here's what he said.
I'm so dumb. The thing is before. The thing is before. Oh my God.
Yeah, that's what their team had to hear about it, and immediately that's the emotions in the moment. But before we went into this race, we talked about Freddie Rasmussen, that experience that you can draw upon. You don't make those minute. Well, I say minute. You don't make those mistakes.
Well, it was a small mistake, but it was a significant one, wasn't it? It was a costly one, but this is experience. This is exactly will be notched up as that, as experience that he's learning from. I thought it's great that he was able to process it, explain it. He was very honest with himself, the team, the public, everyone watching, and I love his motivation. He said, look, I'm as motivated as ever. I'm going to learn for this. I won't make that mistake again.
No, he hopefully won't. A guy that was sitting on the top of the Drivers' Championship was Lucas Blakely. Struggled today. James Baldwin said maybe the setup was wrong, but it didn't click. I mean, he's still in points, but letting that slip now, and Jarno takes over in the Drivers' Championship.
I know, and he's enjoyed such a decent run of form, but he's gone from P1 to P3 to P6. He's going to hope that this slide doesn't continue.
I tell you what, though, I mean, compare that to last year. I know this sounds like a backhanded compliment, but compared to last year, Natalie, he's doing very well in this race because he wasn't in the points only twice last year.
Exactly.
But hey, the standards have been set now. You're a two-time winner, so hey, that is a step backwards for him. But hopefully, in Event 4, he'll come back to form. Now, a two-time world champion that we haven't spoken about, not in the top 10 of Drivers' Championship, and that is Brendan Lee of FDA Esports. And he's fallen off a cliff. They talked about tyres falling off the cliff. Where's Brendan Lee?
Well, look, we saw some feisty overtakes from him today. He's clearly determined, but you have to say the others have raised their game and he hasn't kept up. It is strange to see him not regularly scoring points and podiums this year, but hopefully this performance will give him some heart. You know, he's determined.
And I read an interview just before coming into Event 3 with Brendan Lee. He's living over in Italy now. He's the most content he's ever been. That happiness sometimes doesn't bring that fighting, that killer instinct that you need sometimes. He's the happiest he's ever been, but not getting the results. It's fascinating.
I don't know, though. I think the psychology behind that's wrong, because you'd assume if you're happy and you're at one with yourself, you can, make that show on track. But let's wait and see.
He is not happy in knowing it, and he's not clapping his hands today, but maybe for Event 4 he will. Walk with me, come with me, as I get some circulation back into those legs for a second, because I'm going to be joining the one and only Mr. Nick Hamilton at the touchscreen. It had a bit of everything, that race. Before we talk about Nicholas Longuet, what stood out for you?
Well, obviously we're going to have to talk about Nicholas Longuet initially, but
a great win for Jarno Opmeer back in the points.
Yeah, I think it's amazing for him, and also just to go back on Natalie's point, I think Brendan did a good job in this race in terms of the strategy that he was on. He was just on the wrong one, but in terms of the moves that he made, pretty amazing.
OK, all right then. We've waited long enough. Let's talk about Nicholas Longuet.
Yeah. Well, let's hope that the touchscreen doesn't let me down this time. But a bit nervous. But this is actually a lap from the end. Nicholas Longuet does an amazing move, or pretty much a strategical move, I would say, into the hairpin. Gets the job done, pushes Jarno off track a tiny bit. That's perfect. That's perfect, I would say. But then, this is the moment where Nicholas then pulls over to the left-hand side. To be honest, I couldn't believe it. I didn't really understand what he was doing. But I do feel bad for him, especially from what he said, and I can understand what he was trying to do with the DRS. Maybe he might have had just enough pace to keep in ahead of Jarno and take the win, but you'll see in a minute with Jarno's reaction. He's pretty much, couldn't believe it. All his Christmases came at once, and it's only November.
Fair enough.
But yeah, I feel bad for Nicholas.
However, that just made me think there, a hat-trick of second-place finishes for Freddie Rasmussen. I mean, he's doing everything that Red Bull can ask of him, is just make sure you don't let Jarno and the Mercedes team slip away.
Yeah, I think he's doing everything he can. It's so difficult for him, really, isn't it, to try and get the win when he's only a couple of tenths back. But he's super consistent. That's what he needs to do to keep the pressure on Lucas and on Jarno. Obviously, Lucas didn't have the best of days today, but that's what F1 Esports Pro Championship's all about.
Yes, it is indeed. Let's have a look at the DHL fastest lap. And that goes to Daniele Haddad. There he is, Aston Martin. A very, very fast driver. He hasn't quite got the results he has wanted so far this season. But as he reminds me, he messages me after the races and says, let the world know I'm very fast. Yes, you are. You've proved it today, Daniele Haddad. Congratulations to you. Hopefully we'll be back in the points. Now, let's throw over that way towards Matt Gallagher and James Baldwin.
Thank you very much, Tom and Nick. Myself and James, we're going to be speaking to our Aramco driver of the day, Mr. Jarno Opmeer, of course, the race winner. What a fantastic performance from you, Jarno. How are you feeling after that incredible race?
Yeah, very good, of course. Yesterday I was struggling a lot in quali, today as well, but luckily I got my lap together and got myself up there, which is all you need. Yesterday I had to fight from the back all the time, or from the midfield at least. Which made life very hard, even though the races were good. It's just only P6, P7. So yeah, today was a lot better, of course. Starting P3 on the Alton Strat, and then yeah, pitted early. It was a bit tricky with Tyler. Really had to nurse him home, but made it work.
Jarno, it's James. So did you expect Nicholas to pull over at the end on the last lap to try and get DRS? I mean, it looked very unusual on a circuit like that.
I kind of had it in the back of my mind, but I was following him so close and then he braked, so I had to move out very, very fast. I almost lost my front wing. But he was too late, and then I still got the DRS on the straight. It saved up a lot of ERS, so I could use it all on that back straight. And so I could defend from Freddie.
Were you a bit surprised, Jarno, when Longuet decided to take the lead on the penultimate lap to then lead into the last? Were you expecting him to just wait and bide his time until the final lap?
No, I was not surprised, because I kept seeing behind me that he kept struggling out of the final left-hander with the rear tires. He was overheating quite bad, I think so. And I was saving my tires all race just for that last lap. I just want to be in P1 or P2. So I was not surprised, because once I felt like if I would have pulled the pin out of that left-hander and absolutely sent it on those tires, then I was going to stay out anyway. So.
Do you have any more from you, James? No? OK, one final one from me, Jarno. Obviously, it's not been the easiest run the last couple of races. You know, you found qualifying a bit difficult. What was it about COTA that you've maybe managed to just nail it a bit more than maybe the last two that we saw yesterday?
I was just comfortable. Once I got into Q2, I just started nailing lap after lap, whether it was on used tires or new tires. I feel like we still don't really have the pace compared to some of the other teams, because my quali lap felt really good and it was only P3. You know, in the race, I think we definitely have an advantage, so we need to push in quali to try and close that gap a little bit.
Amazing stuff. Well done, Jarno. You're again the championship leader. Does that feel good?
Yes, it does.
Amazing
well done,
stuff. Have a great rest, and we'll see you for the final event.
Thank you. Thank you.
There you go, Jarno Opmeer, our race winner and Aramco driver of the day. Back to you, Tom.
Thank you very much, Matt. There you go, getting a chat with your race winner from COTA. It's Jarno Opmeer back in that winning feeling. I'm sure he's going to celebrate tonight. There he is, his cheeky little smile there in the left there. Jarno Opmeer, now 140 points. We're looking at the Drivers' Championship. Lucas Blakely led going into this. He is now 5 points behind, so still very much in it. And Freddie Rasmussen moving on up. I think that's a song. Freddie Rasmussen 132 points in third place. And there we go, we spoke about him earlier. Brendan Lee, 22 points. In bingo, that would be two little ducks, but that is not important. He has not had the season so far, but hey, we have got Event 4 very shortly coming up in December. So, Teams Championship. This is where $750,000 prize pool is waiting for these teams. Red Bull have won it back-to-back for the last 3 seasons, but at the moment, they are a whole 23 points behind Mercedes. And yes, nothing has changed for Haas. Still nil points. That's a mirror of the real-life F1 at the moment. But hey, you take on board that. Jarno seems confident. He was very happy with what Nicholas did, and he takes the win home.
Absolutely, you'll just take that with both hands, won't you? But just 8 points separating the top 3. I mean, this really gets exciting going into the last 3 races of the season.
Yes, perfectly teed up there for me, Natalie, because we will have a debut in Event 4 starting on December the 15th. We will be heading to this stunning track. It has been added to the game. It is, of course, Imola, and we will be heading there. Have you been there yourself, Natalie?
Oh, it's a beautiful place, steeped in history, obviously tragedy as well, back in '94. But it's I walked the track, and you can't help but to be moved by the place. It produces some great racing, a bit of mixed weather. It was a bit cooler than we expected this time around. Max Verstappen taking the win this year. Tell you, I did have a bit of a nightmare on a personal level.
Oh, hit me with it.
Well,
what
I was commentating on FP1.
Yeah.
And Ant Davidson said, we're going to smash this. I love the fact we're doing commentary together. You know what happened?
Yep, you did.
A local engineer drilled through a fibre optic cable, everything powered down. I had nothing to commentate on.
It's the commentator's curse, Ant Davidson there. But you know what? I feel like we mentioned Brendan Lee. He will feel that FDA esports team, a little bit of pressure. You know, you're in Italy, it's the home of Ferrari.
Absolutely. There's a lot of pressure that comes with that. But one of the great things about COVID, and there aren't many, let's face it, is that we have gone back to some great racetracks, and we've revitalised those racetracks, and it's just great, as you say, to be part of the Ferrari setup going to them, because we all know what the Tifosi are like, and the passion for racing in that country is second to none.
2 other races happening. It starts on December the 15th, as I mentioned. Mexico City, heading out to Mexico. Last season, Freddie had pole position and in that race, and Jarno Opmeer won eventually. But then we have Sao Paulo. Before we talk about Lewis Hamilton in the real-life world, that year was Nicolas Longe pole, went on to win it. So I tell you what, didn't have the best day today, but moving forward, he can just remember, hey, I bossed it last time round. 2
great racetracks for us to look forward to, both at altitude, both throw up all sorts of different challenges. I cannot wait.
OK, all right then. Matt, James, I'm going to pass it over to you guys.
Right, if you've been inspired to become the next F1 Esports champion, then you have to go onto this scenario on F1 2021. You are trying to change history. You're trying to beat Esteban Ocon, who's currently P1 at the Hungarian Grand Prix. It's a 9, maybe 8.5 lap scenario. James Baldwin, how do you get a good score?
Wow, it's quite simple, mate. You've just got to drive fast, don't crash, be very quick, no invalidations, no crashes, none of that stuff. And if you keep it on the road and are very quick, you will qualify.
Yep, don't touch Carlos Sainz like you just had a little bit of wheel banging. But, yeah, no warnings, none of that stuff. Keep it nice and clean. Corner cuts. Also, the less assists that you have, the more score that you will have. So, ideally, if you want to qualify for F1 Esports, you'll be doing it with no assists. But that will take quite a bit of practice. Currently lap 62 of 70, James. And
it's tricky,
it's
mate.
It's difficult. I guess you've got no audio and you've got no assists on. But you are the world's fastest gamer. So.
Well, don't big me up like that. You know, you have to be a lot quicker than me at this moment in time to qualify.
You're purple in the middle sector. Yeah,
that's not bad, actually.
You know, you're on medium tyres as well. Let's not forget that. You are on the attack in that Mercedes with Lewis Hamilton. Next up, you've got Sebastian Vettel going very slowly around the final corner. All the way around the outside. Do it. There you go.
It's all about passing these guys
Baldwin,
as quick as possible.
Ocon, 5 seconds down the road. Fastest lap for you. Anything else? Any tips for drivers that might be trying this for the first time?
Just put the hours in it. You ain't going to do it on your first run. You know, just keep on doing it, and eventually you'll nail a run. You might have to fluke it, but that's what it takes.
And that's the beauty as well, is that, you know, even if you do mess up, you can just press restart.
Exactly,
you can do it as many times as you want. And James has already crashed a few times before we went live.
Shut up.
You know, it's fine. But yeah, you can have as many goes as you want. Keep practicing, and you can then also look at the leaderboard and see how you stack up against other drivers. So it's an awesome scenario. Have a go. Tom, are you going to have a go?
Damn straight I am, Matthew Gallagher. I might not be hosting next time round. I may actually be a team principal. Natalie, talking of
Imagine him
event
in charge. My goodness.
Event 4. I want to get there,
Yes.
talk about it. You won't be here.
No, I'll be out in the Middle East. I'm going to do the last 2 races of Formula 1. I'm going to bring you special insight from Abu Dhabi. Cannot wait.
All right, well, there you go then. Thank you very much to Natalie, to Matt Gallagher, to Alex Jakes, to James Baldwin, to Steph F1. We have had an amazing day. We'll be back for Event 4 on the 15th of December. Who will be Drivers' Champion? Who will be Team Champion? You will have to find out. Get it in the diary. We'll see you then. Thanks a lot for watching tonight.
5 red lights in Texas, and we're racing.
The median appears to be the preferential strategy. Brendan Lee up to second.
Barry Harman, man on a mission at the moment. Oh, he's getting past both of them. This is Jarno Opmeer out of the slipstream. This one's in the balance. Fascinating race in progress.
He wants a victory.
He's let him through. Jarno Opmeer back on top.